With an increasing volatile world that we have out there, we have the things that are happening down in the Strait of Hormuz, the US doing what the US does, the European Union not having a clue what they do. People are looking for that second option or that third option. And some of the people that are reaching out to us are asking, hey, Andre, what is the fastest way for me to obtain citizenship? So they're not necessarily looking for a prolonged route to get temporary residency. They just want to go straight to citizenship. And today we're going to talk about what are the fastest ways that you as an individual who is looking to obtain Serbian citizenship, what are your options and what are kind of the fees and how we can help with that. Now, jumping into this, my name is Andre. I'm the founder of Relocation Serbia. We've been helping people from all around the world looking to either return back to Serbia or move to Serbia from a country that they've been living in. And one of the things that we're getting from people that are looking to, either come to Serbia or live to Serbia or not even live in Serbia, but just to have that other plan B, C, is what are the fastest ways for me to obtain citizenship? And there are various routes to citizenship here in Serbia. There are some that can take 10 years and some can take as little as 90 days or less. And it all depends on your profile, your background, your intent of becoming a Serbian citizen here as well. And so we're going to dive into the first one that many individuals, and that is the quickest route, in my opinion, for individuals who have this right to obtain citizenship. And this is based on doing it through descent or as the nations of the people, right? Because those are very similar pathways. You essentially have to show your lineage that your parents or grandparents were part of Serbia and they are Serbian people, or that you acknowledge you are Serbian. The difference that it takes is the paperwork you have. And also, not many people realize this, is that if you have been registered in the registry here in Serbia, so many individuals that we've worked with are in both categories. They were born abroad to Serbian parents, and they were never registered here, and they can take up to 6 to sometimes 10 months to get approved. But if they've been registered here in Serbia, they typically are looking at about 2 to 2.5 months, maybe 3 sometimes on that sense. Now, that does not bring in the fact that you may have some Serbian bureaucracy. We've had an individual who was registered here by his father, who we were able to obtain citizenship in a relatively short time, but there is a number of steps that we had to take in account beforehand because he applied 2 other times on his own and was rejected. And this was simply the fault of the government and their institution, the people that they hire. They had a one name that was said in English. His name was George. And in Serbia, the court-appointed translator for the city, when they did the translation, put in George. And so on a technicality like that, they refused him citizenship. And so we had to go in and essentially add that second first name to his records here in Serbia. We were able to go back to the, I believe it was the 50s records. They pulled out this huge binder at the registry, and we found all that paperwork, and we found the actual problem of what was going on. But that's essentially the process. Is if you have the right as a descendant, or if you acknowledge yourself as a Serbian individual, you have the right to do so. Now, if you're baptized in another church, that's going to cause you issues, and you typically will not proceed with that. So that is anywhere between 2 to 3 months all the way up to 10 months, depending if you're registered or not. The next one is going to be citizenship by merit. Now, this one can be as short as 90 days. It can be a couple more months than that as well. This is typically for investors, high net worth individuals, things of that nature. I know there's other merit processes out there. However, those are longer processes. The ones we look at are, you contributing to the Serbian economy, you contributing to Serbia in some way, shape, or form in a short amount of time, and we can obtain that for you anywhere between 90 and just under a year. Also depends on the political situation here as well. We're actually having one of our American clients, button his process up next week. I believe he is receiving his after we've had a little bit of a hiccup with the political side of things here in Serbia, but nevertheless, it has come out to a positive outcome. So if you are someone who is looking for that route, looking for a non-EU passport, many people have said, I'm looking for the Montenegrin passport. However, Montenegro is scheduled to enter the EU, and so that leaves a limited amount of countries that you're able to apply to for citizenship that is outside of the EU. I believe Albania is in order to come in next the following year after that. So it's going to leave Serbia as the one and only that you're going to have the option to obtain. And so one of the things I also want to note, if you want to get that this year, it's better to do it now than later, because there are votings. So the president's term is coming out, and so there are elections coming out. And so if you want to get started, this is the time. If you want to have it completed possibly by the end of the year. The next one that you would have is the citizenship by marriage. So if you are married to a Serbian citizen, you have the right to citizenship here in Serbia. Now, there is a caveat. I just said in Serbia. We were recently contacted by a lady who said, hey, listen, I've been married to my Serbian husband for 17 years. Do I have the right to obtain Serbian citizenship, but we've never lived in Serbia? On that basis, no. The way that process works is similar to the residency route, where you have to go through the 3 years of temporary residency to get to permanent residency. Well, this one is 3 years of temporary residency within Serbia. Then you go to permanent residency. From there, you can apply right away. So the second you get your temporary your permanent residency, you can apply for Serbian citizenship, and usually within 6 months you can get that. So you're looking all in all about a 3.5 year process to obtain citizenship if you are married to a Serbian citizen. There are some other documents that may strengthen your application, but we've typically seen 6 months after you apply your 3-year temporary residency is completed, you will be obtaining your citizenship here in Serbia. The last one, and the one that is undefined essentially, is the naturalization process. This one can take anywhere from 6 to never. That process there is always about and always up to the government when and if you will obtain. If is the big one. You can be here for 8 to 10 years and never obtain it. We know an individual who spent 12 years here in Serbia, and after 12 years he was naturalized into Serbia, and he did a lot for Serbia. This was well before we even started our process, but our business here. But he was saying that he did a program here where he'd take individuals to the United States and show them the ways there and get them jobs there, and then they come back here. And he did that for a number of years, and after that, he was kind of reached out to and was able to obtain citizenship by naturalization. There's other things that can back up your submission. You know, how well you've learned the language, what you've done for the country. Do you have a business here? Do you have children with here in Serbia? Do you do volunteer work? All this stuff contributes to your application, and it also, we have to look at what passport you have now. Serbia looks at what passport you're currently holding, and will you be able to obtain citizenship that way. Just because you've been here for 10 to 12 or 15 years does not mean that you have the right to citizenship here. Serbia, it's up to Serbia's discretion when and if you get that. If you have any questions or are looking to obtain citizenship, this is one of the biggest things that we're doing this year. We have a lot of requests, regardless if it's through the merit process, through the descent process, through marriage process. We are getting a lot of requests for people to obtain citizenship, and it's something that we can do here and understand what you need and what the process is. So if you're interested, reach out. If not, I'll see you on the next one.